We will expose what is now a growing pile of affidavits, real evidence, real eyewitnesses, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them, now along with surveillance videos in 2 states. All of this now has casted what is real significant doubt on the integrity of the 2020 election. The brave Americans now coming forward publicly, many of them, as you know, under the penalty of perjury. They deserve to be heard. I thought we called them patriotic and courageous and needed to be believed. Oh, we should believe. What happened to them? Now, tonight, we start in the great state of Georgia, where it appears Governor Brian Kemp may have actually finally taken the baby step in the right direction, while he still has steadfastly refused to call a special legislative session to fix the problems with the 2-tiered signature verification system, the one that, I don't know why the Secretary of State agreed to. The governor's finally asking the Secretary of State to do the right thing and do a full signature audit. Here's what the governor of Georgia told Laura Ingraham last night. Take a look.
I called early on for a signature audit. Obviously, the Secretary of State, per the laws and the Constitution, would have to order that. He has not done that. I think it should be done. I think, especially with what we saw today, it raises more questions. There needs to be transparency on that. I would again call for that, and I think in the next 24 hours, hopefully we'll see a lot more from the hearings that the legislature had today, and we'll be able to look and see what the next steps are.
All right, despite all of the evidence of really serious flaws in the entire signature matching process and suspicious surveillance video on election night, by the way, Governor, call the legislature into special session. Fix it before January 5th. Georgia's Secretary of State still recertifying the election results despite all of the serious unanswered questions about what happened in Fulton County, despite 2 separate signature verification systems. It gets worse because Georgia's election implementation manager, Gabriel Sterling, is, just dismissing the explosive new video evidence, trying to claim there was nothing odd at all. Now, about the video that we showed you last night, showing that shortly after, observers, and there are about 100 of them, have all said they were asked to leave the room on election night in Fulton County. Several large, mysterious suitcases believed to be filled with ballots, were told by people there were filled with ballots, rolled out from under a table in the State Farm Arena. And the same election official claims that poll workers weren't sent home at all. That directly contradicts the affidavits under the penalty of perjury and video evidence and reports from election night itself. For example, look at this tweet from ABC News on election night reading, the election department sent the ballot counters at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta home at 10:30 p.m. In response, the chairman of the Georgia Republican Party tweeted out, quote, our Georgia Secretary of State and crack team are busily investigating whether or not Fulton County election officials sent our monitors home on election night, as if the question is actually in dispute. He's right. It is not in dispute. So do you trust your Secretary of State, Georgia? I don't. Where is his sense of fairness and urgency and the rule of law? Where are the actions to restore election integrity ahead of this important runoff? Where is his actions to have 1 signature verification system in the state, not 2? 1 easy one for mail-in ballots, 1 stringent one for day of voting. And keep in mind, less than 15,000 votes separate President Trump and Joe Biden in Georgia. And look at this new poll from the Trafalgar Group. That's Robert Cahaly, friend of this program, finding a majority of voters believe the presidential elections were compromised enough to change the outcome. And the issues, they're not just Georgia, as you know. Look out in Nevada. Margin razor thin. Nevada judge denying the campaign's request to block certification, but the campaign vowing to pursue all legal remedies. We'll have an exclusive reaction tonight from the lead attorney in Nevada straight ahead. Look at your screen. The campaign submitted 20 binders with 8,000 pages of evidence in just in Nevada alone. That's 130,000 illegal ballots that they're saying were cast, including potentially 42,000 people who voted twice, 23,000 that were mailed to out-of-state ineligible voters, 44,000 ballots cast from non-existent or commercial addresses. What are we going to ignore this? 1,500 votes from people who are dead. Here's the Trump lawyer, Jesse Bunnell, yesterday explaining just what is at stake here. Take a look.
Every single one of these instances that we've identified has resulted, again, in the votes of honest Nevadans being disenfranchised. But what we can't do is turn a blind eye to voter fraud if we're going to keep being the beacon of representative democracy of the world. When it goes bad, and here it went bad, we can't just turn a blind eye to it. That's not what we do in America. We make it right. We are asking the court to make it right. And the way to do that is to make sure that improperly elected electors don't represent Nevada in the Electoral College.
All week on this show, while so many in the mob and the media, most of the mob and the media ignoring, bringing you the evidence, bringing you firsthand accounts from real whistleblowers all over the country telling their stories of suspicious activity that they witnessed during this election. Here's just a small sample. Take a look.
I have never seen such poor handling of not only the machinery, but the chain of custody from the very beginning was so flawed.
I voted in person. Everything went fine after that. The next day, my mom called the voter center and was told that somebody voted absentee in my name on October 7th.
Voters did see the double counting on the jams. I saw that several times. They would take the ballots that were just scanned and just rescan them again.
Something profoundly wrong occurred in Wisconsin during the presidential election, and the American people have a right to know about it.
We have interviewed most of those people on the show. Truck driver, hundreds of thousands of ballots. He drove from Bethpage, Long Island, into Pennsylvania. The last guy you saw, yeah, he is a postal service contractor, and they're being told to back postmark. In other words, lie on the postmark when it's November 4th, say it's November 3rd. Why? Because you'd make illegal ballots legal. And tonight we're bringing you even more stories from very brave whistleblowers like Susie Voiles, a longtime poll worker, says she observed a box of 800 ballots during the Georgia audit that were in pristine condition, calling them starkly different than the rest. And another election worker, Dana Smith, well, she's telling the Georgia legislature that the voting machines were stored in a way that is inconsistent with election law. And she'll be here to explain in just moments. But Democrats and their allies and the media mob, they don't want you to hear about any of this and want to believe that they're lies, that every one of these people under penalty of perjury are lying. There's no evidence whatsoever of illegal election activity, and instead want to focus more on endless investigations, more smears against the president and his family.